Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com. Thank you for joining me. Today I am going to show you the first 16 rows of how to crochet this textured ombre crochet blanket. It's a very relaxing blanket to make. There's lots of different texture here, and this is using the ombre yarn, which is variegated all by itself. So there are about 7 skeins of yarn in this afghan. Is quite large. It's actually let me see here, with the border, it's 53 inches wide by 74 inches long. I've used in size I crochet hook. My gauge is about 1 square inch for each, for 4 double crochets. And this actually starts off with the foundational no chain double crochet. There is a separate video for that on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out, but I'm going to be going through that here as well. Like I said, I'll be going through the first 16 rows, and then I'm going to also do, there's 3 rounds of border. And this here, the no chain double crochet, there's 180 stitches wide, and this blanket here is 135, no, take that back. I take that back, it's 136. Okay, I gotta check. You know, I should know this answer. 136 rows long, plus the 3 rounds around it for the border. And this has a combination of double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front loop double crochet, back loop double crochet. And then the single crochet is on the border, the first one. The next one is a round of double crochet, and then the following one is a back loop double crochet all around the border. So this variegated yarn, you can see on this part here, the border has, it has a lighter yarn on top, and because the yarn is variegated, let me see, where's the other border? See, then you have a darker gray against a really dark gray, and it just, I don't know, there's a lot of, I'm sure, hopefully this camera picks it up, but there's a lot of texture. It's just very nice yarn. I think that this is going to wear nice. It was very, very warm working on. I would be a little bit cold, and I'd put this, as the blanket got bigger, I'd put it on my lap, and boy, I was roasting, just about sweating by the time that I was really getting going. So I'm just going to do a small swatch here. I'm certainly not going to do 180 rows. Goodness gracious, it would take me hours and hours to show you this, but I'm going to try and show you quickly how to work this. If you can do those simple stitches that I mentioned, you can do this pattern. The pattern is available for free on my website. I would recommend you print it off and actually mark off the rows as you do them. That way, and when I was making it, I would do like 2 rows a night. That was plenty to do and watch some TV and spend family time. But that way you can mark things off as you go. And of course, I was writing them down as I went. So it just makes it a little bit more relaxing when you can just pick up right where you left off. Once you start a row, it's the same stitch all the way through, but it's not the same. I'm picking off Bernie here. Good Lord, I'm really sorry. There's some dog hair on here. I'll have to wash it before I give this away. But when, it's not the same exact stitch every single row, which gives it, makes it a little bit more fun and exciting to do. But once you start a stitch in a row, it continues on the whole row, and then the color automatically changes, so I don't have 9,000 yarn ends to weave in when I'm done. I do have some, but not that many. So, okay, so I have my beginning slip stitch here, my loop on my hook. So I'm going to do that foundational no chain double crochet. So I'm going to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then yarn over, and then go back in that first loop, and then yarn over, bring it through. Now I have 3 loops on my hook, okay? So yarn over, oopsies, good Lord, bring it through that first loop, yarn over, now my yarn stuck, yarn over, and bring it through the next 2 loops. Yarn over, bring it to the next 2 loops. What you've essentially just done is a single crochet and 2 double crochet. The reason I like this is when you add a border, you don't get the big puckering hole part where a lot of times your foundational chain likes to pull apart. This stays really nice and secure. So I'm going to yarn over again. Now in the first 2 loops here, in both bottom loops, okay, it's like I'm going through that single crochet. I'm going to yarn over, bring it through, and I'm just going to complete. This would be my first single crochet, bring it through that first loop, yarn over, bring it through the next 2 loops, the next 2 loops. And I'm going to keep doing this. I have to go through both loops on the bottom, and sometimes it's hard to get. Yarn over, go through 1 loop, yarn over, 2, and 2. And really, with this pattern as well, you could, while I started this with 180 stitches, you could have started this with 200 stitches, 10 stitches, 50 stitches. It doesn't matter. When you are using this no chain double crochet in a pattern that just repeats once you start the pattern, it's very simple to work. You don't have to worry about, you know, how many, dividing it by 15 and plus 7 and whatever. You don't have to do any of that mathematics. Just make it about the size that you want. Your foundational row, that where you'd normally do a chain, a foundational chain, and the double crochet back. So this really is kind of like 2 rows in one, but I'm just counting this as my first row. So now I'm going to turn it, okay? So what I did is I turned my work, and so this is counting for me here as row 2. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to chain 3. That counts as my first stitch, and I'm going to double crochet in each one. That is going to be row 2. So let's double crochet. And I'm going through both loops. I'm just doing a double crochet. And I would do it if my yarn didn't pull. So just a very easy double crochet. And make sure when you get to the end that you tuck in those end pieces, you know, as far as, you know, make sure that you get that end row, because you don't want your work to be uneven because you forgot a row. Always remember that just past this last post, because you just done this last post right here, it's right directly above it, there's this one stitch right here, that's that very first, actually would be that no chain double crochet we did. So we got to tuck our yarn hook right into here and complete that very last double crochet. Okay, row 2 is done. So row 3 is a back post double crochet. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, and back post double crochet. You're going to be working on the posts, not up here in the loops. These are posts. So we're going to go behind our work, but in front of the post we're going to work on, and then through, so our hook is behind our work. You see that? But it's in front of that other post. Hopefully you can see that. Yarn over, bring your yarn through, yarn over again, and now complete a normal double crochet. So let's do that again. I've yarned over, put your hook behind your work, in front of a post, and behind the other side, and bring our yarn through, and then bring it through the loops. So I'm going to do this to the end here, but this is a back post double crochet. I do have a video on this. It goes a little bit slower than what I'm doing here. If you prefer to see a little bit slower method of doing the back post double crochet, I hope that this is working for you. And of course, if you look, there's a beautiful ridge that's forming in front of my work here when I do this back post double crochet. It's a great way to add texture. There we go. And then I have to do my double crochet in the very last loops. But you see this very wonderful ridge here? It's a very nice ridge. And on the other side, there's some columns that are being formed. Where normally when you just do a normal double crochet, it's more stack stitches on top of each other. You don't have the column look to it. So let's move on. We are going to go to row 4. And guess what? Row 4 is going to be the front post double crochet. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, that means we're going to be working on the posts again, and we're going to go in front of our work. So our hook goes in front of our work, behind the post we're going to work on, in front of the other loops. And this, I have to tell you this, I used to do it wrong. A lovely woman pointed it out to me that I was doing it wrong. I had them mixed up, but the only way I can remember this now to make sure that I'm doing it right is that when I do front post, I am working behind the loop I'm on, or the post I'm on, but my hook has to be in front of the other posts. Then I can remember and get it right. So I love it when folks tell me, well, I don't like to make mistakes, but I've always said, as I learn, you will learn. And I love it when folks do tell me if I've done something wrong so I can learn. This is how we get better, is by helping each other. So I hope that you are helped by some of the videos that I've done for you, because I've watched other videos and used patterns and learned from other folks throughout the years, and it's just wonderful. So here we go. See how we have nice long columns right here? What a beautiful way to add some texture to your work. It's just a little bit different looking. And then look at the other side. Because I alternated which stitch I'm doing, whether it's the front post or the back post, I've made sure that I've kept this ridge on the same side. And then on the back side, it has a nice little lovely textured look to it as well. So we're going to move on now to row 5. It's just doing a double crochet in each stitch. So we're going to do that. And we know how to double crochet, so that's another nice easy one. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then remember that counts as your first stitch. So now we're going to go through both loops and just complete a normal double crochet. And when the yarn I'm using today to show you is not the ombre yarn, the Red Heart ombre yarn. This is just a gray yarn that I'm showing you. It's probably a Red Heart, but I don't know what kind of color it is. I don't know. I don't remember the color. But anyways, the blanket was done in the ombre yarn. So that way it's changing color, and the color is long rows of color. So it almost matched up, and I didn't do it on purpose, but it almost matched up where at the end of each row it was kind of changing color for me all by itself. So now I've done my double crochet. So row 5 is done. So row 6, we're going to do it in the back loop only. So as you can see, I'm turning my work every single time I'm working here. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and actually I said that wrong. It is a front loop only. I apologize. I said that wrong, because if I did the back loop, you'd have the ridge on this side. So this is a front loop only. So front loop, and we're just going to work on the front loop, because again, we want that texture to be on the other side, not the back side, because this side here, we're keeping relatively flat, but we want the pretty decorative part all to be on one side. So working just through the front loop. Got to make sure I grab just the front loop too. Yep, there we go. I want to make sure I did that right. And then completing your double crochet. As you can see, this whole thing is double crochet. It just depends on where we're inserting our hook and how we're doing it to achieve the look. And I also made sure I double crochet in the last one. Now we're going to turn. See how we have a nice little ridge of the yarn here? So, and we have the other ridges. We have some nice texture starting. Whoopsies. Pardon me. Didn't mean to bang it here. I'm just getting you some more yarn. So the next thing we're going to do is the back loop double crochet. And this is going to give us a little bit more texture than that front loop. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then in the next stitch, we're going to do a back loop. And again, it's the double crochet. So back loop. It's a very relaxing pattern to work. Oops. It's too quiet in here. I should play some music or something for you, or tell you a story, and we'll make sure we get in that end loop here. All right, how about that? Now we have the first, actually it's going to be the first 7 rows already are completed.